The PS1 classic Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is still a great game to play even more than 2 decades later, and I must admit this one will also keep you on the edge of your seat. I had fond memories of playing this game when I was younger, and recently I did go back to replay this, and I must admit it's still as intense as it was when I had first played it. So, taking place before, during, and after the events of Resident Evil 2, Jill Valentine, she's making her desperate escape from Raccoon City, and not only does Jill has to deal with all the monsters, she also has the unfortunate encounter with Nemesis, a dangerous bioweapon.
Jill!
Brad!
We've gotta... Jill! Help!
No! Brad?
Now that is a great introduction to Nemesis, not only because of the music, but the simple fact that Brad Vickers, before he met his untimely demise, he warned Jill that he's coming, there's no stopping him, he's hunting STARS members, and I think that is a brilliant setup in my opinion. And basically Nemesis is just straight up the Terminator, and you have to fight this beast all throughout this game, and it can get quite stressful at times. Now the story is good, the voice acting is well done, and there are 3 different endings to this game depending upon the choices you make throughout it. Nonetheless, when it comes down to it, this was a great way to end the original Resident Evil trilogy, and it's still fun to play even all these years later. It is interesting that originally this was going to be a spin-off game, but then Capcom changed its mind at the very last minute. Because initially they had Resident Evil Code Veronica be a direct sequel to Resident Evil 2. But it makes sense because Jill Valentine, she wasn't seen since the original game. So to see her escape Raccoon City, it actually is an interesting story. And of course, with a new game, there is new characters. I think Carlos was interesting in this game considering he was working for the other character, Nikolai, who is quite the antagonist. But the real main attraction was, of course, Nemesis, a tyrant that is out to destroy STARS members. What made Nemesis so interesting back in 1999 was he had chased the player everywhere. Whether it was in the police station or anywhere else, all throughout the game, he always would run at you. And it was real stressful. I remember playing those parts, I was like, oh man, get me out of here, because Nemesis was so... what's the word? He was so menacing, and he actually mutated 2 other times. One thing I will say is that it's unfortunate that Nemesis was never properly adapted in the other Resident Evil media, where it was the awful Resident Evil Apocalypse, where he was made a joke in that film, or the Resident Evil 3 remake, where Nemesis doesn't chase you around in that video game. But one thing I will say, they got him right the first time. I mean, his name is in the freaking title. Need I say more, because he was that much of a threat in this game, and if you don't come prepared, then you surely would pay for it big time. At the end of the day though, if you somehow haven't played this cult classic, then check it out because it is well worth the effort. I'm giving this video game an 8 out of 10. A tense experience of survival and escape. Now to be honest, the graphics haven't aged that well by today's standards, and you could beat this game easily in an afternoon. But at least this game was pure horror. That's something you really can't say about the later entries in this franchise, and Capcom did a good job with this one. Overall, a must-play video game for horror fans out there. And that is my review of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this video game. My review of Resident Evil Code Veronica will be happening later on this year. Alright, this is Slum Guy 172 saying, peace out.